Hey guys, welcome back to Say Mojo Homestead. I'm Cass, this is Jeremy, and we have some fun videos to share with you today.
Yeah, we went to a local homesteader meetup at Roots and Refuge Farm yesterday. It was just kind of a gathering of several local South Carolina creators. We were able to spend some time with a couple of them. Unfortunately, we couldn't get around to everybody, but did some fun interviews. And so we just wanted to show you guys and share that with you.
Yeah, so we met lots of great homesteaders, and I really just want to encourage you guys to check out their channels as well. If you follow us and you like this type of content, you're gonna love what they have going on. There are some that are focused more on like stuff in the kitchen, cooking, that kind of thing. There are some that are doing similar things to us. So be sure you check out all those channels and see what they have going on and what is going on in South Carolina.
Yeah, and we're gonna link everybody's channel in the description below, so we'll make it easy for you to jump over there and help them out. Subscribe to them if you haven't found them already.
Yep.
Because like Cass said, they've got a lot of good stuff. So we're gonna flip this around a little bit. We are gonna go ahead and do highs and lows now at the beginning, at the front end of this video. So my high was yesterday. It was just a lot of fun. It was just fun, like kind of expanding our community.
Yeah.
And meeting a lot of these guys face to face. Several of them we do try to keep up with on YouTube, but just being able to actually have like real conversation with them was a lot of fun. Several of them brought kind of just products that they either create or have or plants or whatever, and it was just sort of like one big swap. And so getting to just enjoy some food, and we got a pepper plant that I'm really excited about. Just stuff like that. It was a good, fun environment. So my low this week is probably, I would say, my employee. He is a part-time employee, but my employee was sick for most of the week, which just left me by myself, which wasn't bad. Like, if there was any week where I didn't have help, this was probably the best week as far as like in the springtime. But just hate it for him. I think that would probably be my low.
So my high is that we took a little trip today, and we were able to go get all of the meat that was processed from our cow.
Yes.
So that was really affirming, I think, that, you know, getting a trunk full of beef was, especially with like the crazy times that we're in food-wise, it was really satisfying to know that we have that security, that we have all this stuff to fill our freezer with. To me, it really affirms why we do what we do.
It was neat because it's like the first like major meat that we've raised and had come in. You know, we've done the rabbits and stuff, but this is obviously a little bit bigger than a rabbit. So that was, that's exciting.
It is exciting, and it feels like we're like a different level of homesteader now. I don't know. So my low would probably be that we did decide to pull up our tomatoes and just clean the holes out of all the dirt and the manure, the rabbit manure, and just put in fresh compost and fertilizer and stuff for now, just so we know that we have good food for our family. That's the reason why we grow our food organically. So I just wanted to be sure that the food we were growing was safe and healthy, and that the plants would be safe and healthy, because if they start out sick, then it's going to be very hard to ensure that they stay healthy the entire season.
I mean, you know, it's just like planting 80 tomato plants twice.
Again,
It's not a big deal.
You know, with everything else we got to do. No big deal.
So that's it for us. So we're gonna go ahead and show you guys those interviews that we did. Some of them we did focus on what they're doing on their homestead, but then there are some others, like we got the opportunity to interview Jess and actually got some answers that were unrelated to gardening. So I was really excited about that one as well.
That was fun.
Yeah, enjoy these. All right, guys, we got our first victim here. This is Matt with Dean Family Acres. So we have actually talked a lot back and forth just through YouTube and Facebook Messenger and stuff, but this is the first time I've actually met him. Pretty cool guy right here.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you actually just recently kind of got rid of a lot of your animals, right?
I did.
Yeah. Kind of going more gardening route?
Going more gardening, more fruit trees.
Okay.
Those kinds of things, yep.
So I feel like you're becoming the muscadine guy.
I think I am. Whether that's a good thing or not, because once I get my current ones planted, we'll have 11 muscadine vines.
Yeah.
And say they produce about 100 pounds a piece.
That's a lot. So what are your plans to do with all of those muscadines?
To eat them.
All right. So 100 pounds a piece. That's a lot of.
Well, we have 6 people at our house.
Okay.
So that's only a little over 100 pounds a person.
Yeah. Have you done juice out of them?
We have not. This will be our first year actually that we have some produce.
Okay.
So we've had several vines on our property, other than the wild ones that I find on the ground because they're 100 feet up in the air.
Exactly.
Then this will be the first year that we should have known varieties of what we're going to have. If things go well, then we certainly do plan to sell some. We'll hopefully have enough to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think so.
And different varieties, some more for fresh eating, some for juicing, some for wine, but we won't do wine. And I've heard a lot of people freeze them. So like if you can't do anything with them, kind of just freeze them on a tray, and that way you can kind of eat them as a frozen treat too. So
can you do raisins out of them?
I think it depends on the variety. The biggest issue with raisins is because of the seeds. Well, you got the seeds, but you also are dealing with the skin. It's
slip skin.
So, so thick. So,
yeah, gotcha. Yeah. So we do grapes, but we do not do muscadines. We do muscadines in our woods.
Yeah.
We just kind of go find them.
Yeah.
But we do grapes. So why muscadines over like your more traditional other varieties of American grape?
The reason why, I figured they would probably be easier to take care of.
It's probably true.
So that was number one, because we're trying to simplify.
Yes.
That was one of the main reasons to get rid of the animals, is my nerves couldn't take it. The kids, my wife's nerves couldn't take it anymore either. When you lose 5 goats in about 4 months,
yeah,
you're at what's in. Anyway, that was the main reason.
Okay.
So we'll see. And we've got all different kinds of varieties. One that I'm really excited about is fairly new. It's called Ruby Crisp, and it's supposed to be very similar to kind of your American grape.
Yeah.
Very crunchy skin. They do have seeds, but crunchy skin, which will be good.
Yeah. So. Nice. Well, thank you.
Hey guys, we're here with Josefina, and she has a YouTube channel. Remind me of your name, the YouTube name.
I Dream of Homestead.
I Dream of Homestead. That's a great channel name. So tell us a little bit about your channel.
So my channel is mostly cooking. It's Mexican cuisine. I want to show people how to make it from scratch and authentically. And so I want to show them how to start it from seed and then take it to the table, and all the different things that you can do with things like a poblano pepper, more than just stuffing it. What you can do to preserve it and dry it, just all that good stuff.
That's awesome. We have poblanos, and that is like one thing. Like we had a bunch last year, and I was like, I know I can like dry them and use them for spices, and I know I can stuff them, but I don't really know much more beyond that, and I don't really know how to.
That's actually my focus this year. Is I've got so many different kinds of pepper plants, and so I want to show people how to eat them fresh, and then how to dry them and preserve them, and what to use them in to make different kinds of sauces like moles and soups and things like that.
That's awesome. I will definitely be following your channel.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking some time to share with us.
Thank you.
It was great meeting you.
It was great meeting you too.
All right, guys. So we are here with Megan and Kenneth, and they are with Living the Height Life, which comes from your last name.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We're the Heights, so we are living our life on an off-grid homestead in South Carolina.
Yeah, it has been really interesting to kind of watch how y'all are doing it out there and everything. So
it's been hard work, but it's been fun. Doing everything by hand. We've really focused on getting to learn the ways they used to do things and trying to do it that way. And it's been a lot. It's been a teaching experience.
See, that's what I appreciate about you guys, because we don't really have any big equipment or tractors.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm like, man, are we the only homesteaders out there that don't?
Yes. No.
And,
everything that I've done has literally been done with a chainsaw.
Yeah. We have basic tools, chainsaws, an axe, pickaxe, things like that.
So have you guys stretched fencing yet?
No.
That gets interesting. I'll just leave it there.
We have
We
not.
can talk about how we did it if you want to.
Oh
but,
yeah, we'll
later.
totally have to know that one.
You got a farm jack?
That's been the most interesting one. Yeah.
Farm jacks has been handy because it can pull like tree stubs and stuff
Okay.
up out of the ground.
Yes.
You jack it up.
Yeah.
That's been so handy, but that's about as high tech as we get.
Nice. You see, I think
Nice.
those are good skills to learn.
Man,
so.
I'm envious. Now the people who have tractors, I'm like, oh, I could get this done in a day if I had a tractor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we're doing it
It
debt free, so we're not going to go out and take a loan out for a
Yes,
tractor.
yes.
We'll get there eventually.
So.
Maybe.
Very cool. Well, my one question I wanted to ask you guys is, watching your videos, you guys like involve your son in
Yes.
everything. So, as parents, what has been the most rewarding thing in that process?
Ooh. He has learned so many skills at 3 years old that I don't even know how to do.
Right on cue. Here we go.
He knows where gas and oil goes in a chainsaw. Like he's got his own
That's
toy
impressive.
chainsaw and he can show you that this is where the gas goes, this is where the oil goes. He knows how to sharpen the blades. Like he's 3. But they've learned everything. They've learned everything you do. It is so cool to watch him plant and dig, and I'm learning how to plant tomatoes and he's already learning it at 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish somebody had taught me when I was his age.
And that is such valuable, like, life skills right there.
Yeah.
And learning them that young, like, he's just gonna have a better understanding of all of that stuff.
It is fantastic.
Hey, dude.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you? Hey, I have a question for you. What is your favorite thing about homesteading?
The
Digging
dirt.
in the dirt. Yeah, that sounds like what our son Josiah would say.
He loves to dig garden beds because he can dig in the dirt, and he's got his own little 3-foot shovel, and so he's got to
Yep,
have his
yep.
shovel. Oh, are you Megan now? And so he loves anything we do. He has to have his own to do it too,
That is so great.
and so he is learning everything.
Yeah. That is so great. Such valuable lessons, and like I just think that that's one thing that is overlooked sometimes in like the
Yes.
just everything that we do with homesteading is what we're pouring into our kids and teaching them just for like sustainability for the future.
I tell everybody we homestead for him. Like he's the reason we did this. We
That is so
were
cool.
city people and everything before him, and he changed everything.
Yeah.
You want your
Very
backpack?
cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Well, thanks. I'm glad we got to meet y'all today.
Yeah.
And tell him thank you for the milk.
Thank you, Mommy.
He
You're
likes
welcome.
y'all.
Hey, we're here with Shannon from Mrozinski Family Homestead, and they were at our garden teaching session last weekend, so you might recognize her. But I wanted to ask her one question. They actually are renting a house, right? And then they purchased raw land.
Yes.
So what would you say is the most difficult about living in one place and then developing all of your homestead infrastructure in another location?
Honestly, the drive.
Yeah.
The drive is the hardest because you got to get the kids together. You got to get everybody together, load everything up, go to the property, unload everything, spend all 8 or 9 hours out there, and then load everything back up and go back to the house and then unload everything and put everything away. That is the hardest part.
So what was like the thing that was the most important to start first for you guys?
For me, it was my garden. My garden was the hardest. My daughter got hurt when she was 3 years old. So I had to like leave my garden that I had built, and it was her first garden. So it was like really important to me, and we had to stop everything what we were doing and then just pick up and move. So that way I could care for her
Right.
over everything else. So as soon as we got the property and we got to that big opening, it was like, we're doing a garden.
That's awesome.
First things first.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what was your husband's like first priority?
Actually, I don't know. I don't know. I guess making me happy. I
Yeah.
guess.
That's
I mean,
awesome. That's awesome.
That's what I feel. I mean, we did the property lines together. We cleared everything out. I guess it's just making me happy.
That's awesome. So how long do you think it'll be before you're permanently there?
We are hopefully by the end of the summer we will have some kind of building out there. So that way, if we can't stay out there full time, we're able to stay out there over the weekends and a couple times during the summer and that and everything else. But yeah,
good. Well, thank you for taking a few minutes with me. Okay, I'm here with the farm with the red door. Tell us your names.
We're Shelly.
Hans.
And they are actually in the process of, well, they have new land for them, and they just left their old gardens. So my question is, what has been the biggest challenge in leaving your old property and your gardens and starting with this new homestead?
Well, I feel like coming from the city where we had turned the entire backyard into gardens and they were thriving, and you felt like you had boundaries on everything, you know, and you felt like you could cross off your list and be done. Moving out to 12 acres of just completely, like, it's nothing, no one's been living on it, and it's just starting from scratch. In a way, it's really exciting because you can call the shots, but then it can be super overwhelming when you're landing on there and you don't have any skills yet. Like you've read a lot of books, but you know, it's just been a little city backyard. That's but sometimes the overwhelm. And learning the skill of just having the homesteader's mindset of just the hard work, the hours, the consistency, that had to be learned.
Yeah, for sure. What about you? Do you have any?
I totally ditto that. And then the excitement of so much that you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the sky's the limit now, right?
Yeah.
So I really had to take a step back and say, infrastructure, build the soil.
Yes.
So we tilled once. We put in a bunch of soil amendments, a lot of money, organic mushroom compost, regular compost, and tilled that in and let it sit. We went ahead and did our first year. We went ahead and did a garden, and our peppers, tomatoes did amazing.
Yeah.
And we put up, I think, 58 quarts of tomatoes, and we froze a bunch of peppers. And so the initial adrenaline surge, it was satisfied. And then now we got meat birds coming. We had layers. We preserved 1,000 eggs.
Oh wow, that's
water
awesome.
bath them.
Yeah.
Got our pantry built and filled.
Awesome.
Shelly did amazing with her canning expertise. And then goats, we got given 2 goats to start clearing pasture, a donkey to protect. And now it's just like, we want to go forward. What's the next step? We need a house.
That's important.
So
on a travel trailer.
We put a bunch of more soil amendments in, bedded everything down for this year, and we're not going to hardly do any gardening at all.
But as spring is coming and everybody's talking about everybody's like pushing forward, that's been a really big challenge to like actually go like, we've got to get the house. It's been really hard to like not
seeing everybody go forward with their gardens, and we're kind of like pulling the reins back.
Yeah, it's hard.
We're like,
that's a challenge.
We're going to build a house. We're going to base it all around designing of Homestead.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what advice would you have to anyone that might be interested in getting into homesteading or starting maybe their first year homesteading?
So I always suggest to start small. On a couple things I started way too big. I had too much going, and I had a lot of failures because when you're learning and it's your first time, you get so excited.
Oh yeah.
That it just sets you up for bigger failure. So I just say start small and really master one skill before you can move on to the next. And when it finally gets to where it's just the normal, like I'm not trying to learn how to do kefir anymore, it's just part of my daily routine, I can move on to the next thing.
And then you slowly introduce those into your daily routine.
Right.
So the discipline, she's more disciplined than I am on just daily routine, so it's been really good for me to watch her and then have her have reminders for me. So then just that time efficiency of going through the routine, going to the brooder, going to the chickens, going to the goats, making sure the waters are going to the little greenhouse, making sure the water's replenished.
So just getting that down at a slower pace.
And the discipline, and then slowly introduce one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
good
you just
advice.
become more efficient that way.
Yeah. I think it's definitely true with animals as well. Each of them have their own little issues that they can deal with.
Yeah.
And you want to learn them. You don't
really
want to learn them all at once.
You want to, if you learn them one at a time, you can learn them very well.
And you can do most of the vet care or whatever at home on your own.
Exactly.
So, just like last week, you know, I had 1 hour. I'm like, well, the hooves need to be taken care of on the goats. So I read, I watched videos, and went out there and did it. And it wasn't that hard. It's just a matter of putting your mind to it, going out and trying it.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
All right, guys, so if you somehow don't know, we're here with Jessica. Hello.
I have my name tag.
Oh, there you go. Now we know who you are. Roots and Refuge. If for whatever reason you have not found them on YouTube, find them on YouTube. So you guys semi-recently just moved down here, about a year. Actually, just a couple days ago marked like y'all's first trip down here, right?
Right. That was, Maya had been here before and secured this property. He brought me to see it just over a year ago, and then we started working on it after that, and then the family and the animals officially came in July. So we've been here for about 9 months.
Okay.
Officially.
So, officially. So in all of that, you guys have done a ton out here. What has been the hardest thing about moving to South Carolina?
I wouldn't say it's a South Carolina specific struggle. I think any big move like that is a struggle. And I know a lot of people are making big moves right now, like moving out of cities, making moves across the country, just real big relocations. And any relocation is just hard. And add 6 kids and farm animals and the fact that your job is showing content of having a farm, and then all of a sudden you don't have one, you know, like all of that stuff combined was a lot of struggle. And truly, like right now coming into, I'm putting gardens in again, and we finally found some sense of rhythm. I'm sitting here going, wow, that was really hard. I think in the midst of it, we were in such just like, just keep swimming kind of thing that it didn't feel, I don't think I realized how hard it was. Yeah. Till the other side of it. Yeah. But that wasn't really specific to South Carolina. South Carolina's been fantastic. It's just been the move. It's just the fact that South Carolina was 722 miles away from where I was in Arkansas.
So what's been the biggest surprise being in South Carolina? Was like, has there been anything that you were kind of like, wow, that was a nice surprise?
There was a big surprise. Okay. So, born and raised Arkansan, that's the South. It is. Yeah. We drink sweet tea and eat fried okra, and it is like the South. But it is not the South like this is the South. Like, I thought that it was. When people are like, oh, you're moving to the South. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm from Arkansas. I'm from the South. But this is like the old different. South. Yes. And the history that's here. I've never lived, like, this town I grew up in, or city I grew up in, was founded in 1959. So, like when South Carolina was a bustling colony, Arkansas was the wilderness. And so, like, having the history here and the history, it's very, very cool. I hadn't really even considered it until I got here, but the culture is different, but it's really sweet, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I've never thought about it in that context. Like, it really was. Like, while South Carolina was being developed into this state. Oh, yeah, that was still weird.
There are so many old houses and barns and stores and like all of the history, the cool antiques you come across, you know, all these different things. Like, there was nothing like that there. The oldest house in the area where I grew up was built in like the 1920s. Like, and that was like the old house in town. Oh my gosh,
I grew up in a house built in the 1920s. Yeah. And it was not necessarily the old house in town.
Yeah, I know, it's really cool. So I love that, being a history person. I've done a lot of like research on ancestry and all of that, and actually had multiple people in my ancestry that were from within 30 minutes of here. Just really cool. But I love history, and that's been a really sweet thing. And I just hadn't even considered it. Like, I didn't till I got here. Oh my God, look, that's a 200-year-old house, and there's a historical mark. George Washington stayed here. Oh, there's this, and we're just like constantly like, whoa!
It's one big history lesson.
Yeah, it was. And all the people who are from here are like, yeah. Okay, and I'm like, you don't think that's cool? It's very cool.
That is neat. So. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for giving us a perspective that us native South Carolinians don't really, I guess, understand. Yeah. So that's really cool. And welcome home, going back to ancestry and everything else. I mean,
I feel that. This feels like home. You know, my dad's been here getting ready to build a house out here, and he's like, this just feels like home. I was like, it's weird how it feels like home. And I think, you know, we got roots here.
Yeah. And refuge.
Yeah. We have that too.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did.
Yes.
We had a lot of fun talking with those other content creators and homesteaders and interviewing them and just meeting a lot of neat people with neat stories.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to follow their journeys and what they are doing. So they're just so different. Every story, of course, is unique. So I hope you enjoyed hearing them as much as we enjoyed videoing them.
All right, so we're getting rained on right now.
Yes, we are.
Hope you guys have a great week and be blessed.